Right. So President John Mahama and the visiting Czech Republic President Petr Pavel are now addressing the media. Let me take you live to the Jubilee House now.
In with some remarks. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. Distinguished members of the media, it's indeed an honor for me to welcome the President of the Czech Republic, His Excellency Petr Pavel, who's on a 3-day state visit to Ghana. I also acknowledge the rest of the high-level delegation that accompanied him from the Czech Republic. This visit marks another milestone in the long-standing cordial relations that exist between our two countries and reaffirm the political, economic, and cultural cooperation that lie at the heart of Ghana's diplomatic engagement with the Czech Republic. Our two countries share a deep respect for democratic values and governance and human rights, and by nurturing these shared principles, we can engage in fruitful dialogue, exchange best practices, and foster mutual understanding. In our bilateral discussions this afternoon, we acknowledge the cordial and long-standing relations that have existed between Ghana and the Czech Republic, which date back to 1961, when we opened diplomatic missions in our respective countries, and have been reinforced over the decades through the exchange of high-level visits and opening of resident missions in our capitals. We also signed a Memorandum of Understanding on Political Consultation, a bilateral air services agreement, also known as Air Transport Agreement between Ghana and the Czech Republic. It is our hope that the implementation of these MOUs will reinvigorate and spearhead cooperation in various sectors between our two countries. In addition, we discussed the need to expand the frontiers of our relations and cooperation with the Czech Republic, both at the bilateral and multilateral levels. At the bilateral level, note was taken of potential for trade and economic cooperation. I'll therefore urge the private sectors of the two countries to come together to explore possible avenues for cooperation in various sectors of the Ghanaian economy. And I'm happy to note that tomorrow there's a business roundtable between Ghanaian and Czech businessmen. On trade, we noted that through trade and investment, this can serve as a bedrock of our economic relations, and more could be done to increase the low levels of trade between our two countries. In that regard, I noted that the African market has a population of over 1.3 billion people, and I extended an invitation to the business community in the Czech Republic to partner with their Ghanaian counterparts to take advantage of the opportunities provided by the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. At the multilateral level, I noted the long-standing and excellent tradition of cooperation between our two countries at various international fora, including the United Nations, and expressed the desire for such cooperation to continue. This includes voting on issues that are of concern to both of us, but also to support each other's candidates that are vying for international positions. In that regard, I called on Czech to support our candidature of Ambassador Mohamed Adam to the position of Secretary General of the United Nations Tourism Organization, and reciprocally for us to support Czech Republic for membership of the Security Council. I assured President Petr Pavel of my confidence in Ambassador Adams' ability to lead and cooperate with his colleagues to bring on board a strategic vision for the UN Tourism Organization. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, I went on to commend the government of the Czech Republic for supporting Ghana's healthcare sector through VAMED health projects and the construction of 12 40-bed capacity hospitals and 12 units of 2-bedroom semi-detached houses for hospital staff for the following beneficiary communities in Ghana: Jumapo, Kwabin, Nkwetia, Achiase, Swami, Drobonso, Sabronum, Manson Kwanta, Edukrom, Mim, Chidie, and Pong Katamanso. I raised the issue of the 50 Bridges project, which has been stalled by the debt exchange program. I urged our two countries to explore ways of re-engineering the project to complete the 50 bridges program and also implement the second phase of 100 bridges. Furthermore, I acknowledge the continuous support of the Czech government led program of medical cooperation, which is commonly known as Medivac, which is aimed at providing healthcare to vulnerable groups, as well as the exchange of medical expertise and knowledge transfer. On the situation in the Sahel and Western African sub-region as a whole, President Pavel was briefed on the security situation and the measures being taken at the level of ECOWAS and the AU to address the issue of terrorism, violent extremism, and the return of military rule in the sub-region, and to restore normalcy to the affected countries. I added that Ghana is resolute in the fight against transnational threats and the promotion of regional peace and security, and welcome the support of the Czech Republic in that regard. On the issue of climate change, Ghana and Czech Republic acknowledge that climate change stands as one of the most formidable challenges of our time that require collective action. We share a deep concern for the environment and recognize the urgency to combat climate change and mitigate its adverse effects. We agree that our institutions of state, academia, and business community must collaborate closely, leveraging our collective expertise and resources to adopt innovative solutions, promote renewable energy, and implement climate-friendly policies. We also discussed cooperation by the Czech Republic and Ghana in responsible mining, land reclamation, and cleaning of polluted waters, and introducing new sustainable mining practices to Ghana's small-scale sector. On the issue of vocational and technical training, I introduced the Ghana Labor Export Program to train youth to international proficiency to be able to work on fixed terms abroad, and sought cooperation with Czech Republic for vocational training. I also noted that it was cooperation between the Czech Republic and the Defense Industries Holding Company, DHOC, that led to the revamping of the Kumasi shoe factory. We therefore discussed the possibility of further cooperation between DHOC and the Czech private sector to go into more industries for mutual benefit. Following our meeting this afternoon, I am hopeful that the outcomes of our fruitful discussions and the business forum tomorrow will contribute to deepening the relations that exist between Ghana and the Czech Republic in all areas of endeavor for the mutual benefit of our two peoples. I wish Your Excellency Petr Pavel and your delegation a very fruitful stay in Accra, and I thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I now have the privilege of inviting His Excellency Petr Pavel to address the media.
Ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so live pictures from the Jubilee House, President John Mahama and the visiting Czech Republic president addressing the media on issues that the two of them came to agree on at that bilateral discussions at the Jubilee House. And of course, we will take you back to the Jubilee House to bring you more in subsequent bulletins. But